Available global petrochemical capacity was up at the end of last week, with big gains in Asia and Europe. The Petrochemical Weekly Update starts now. I read two articles this week that really got me thinking. The first was from the American Fuel and Petrochemical Manufacturers, a trade organization that represents refined product and petrochemical manufacturers who make things that are vital for our daily lives. The article was about internal combustion engine bans and zero-emission vehicle mandates. They point out that the automotive and transportation industry supports over 3.5 million jobs in fuel and petrochemicals, generating $667 billion in economic activity and $70 billion in direct taxes to the federal government. Although it's not clear to me that jobs and economic impacts will go away completely with bans on internal combustion engines and zero-emission vehicle mandates, the policies we see in places like California to ban the sale of gasoline and diesel-fueled cars and trucks by 2035 will influence the petrochemical industry. The other interesting article I read is from LyondellBasell, who are weighing their options for the refining business, including a potential sale. Outgoing CEO Bob Patel is quoted as saying, "We are actively gauging market interest in the business with the goal of delivering the greatest value to all of our stakeholders." You may be thinking, what will bans on internal combustion engines and mandates for zero-emission vehicles have on refining and consequently petrochemicals? The PetChem Global Market Intel Advisory can help. It is supported by the Petrochemical Strategies Expert Network, IIR Energy, and powered by i2 Enabled. If you have questions, just ask me. Now let's take a look at the global capacity development picture over the last week and what we expect to see in the coming week. Here you can see the PCGMI Startup Day dashboard, where I can select petrochemicals and product make to drill down into the details. Looking at those details, available capacity in Asia increased by over 7 million pounds per day, mostly due to restarts of plants in Indonesia and India, as well as additional capacity coming online in China. These gains were more than offset by lost capacity in the region. In Europe, the biggest changes came from the restart of the Sabic petrochemical complex in Belgium, which was forecasted to come online last week. In the US, the outage at Shintech in Louisiana had the greatest impact on available capacity over the past week. Looking ahead to the end of this week, modest gains in available capacity in Thailand, Japan, and China are offset by lost capacity at the Daishan refinery in China. In North America, the lost capacity at Dow Plaquemine was more than made up with the restart of Nova Chemicals in Canada. Let's look at the headlines. The COVID-19 pandemic and lockdown forced Europe's automakers to reduce production by 4.2 million vehicles last year. That's according to the European Automobile Manufacturers Association. But now the industry is facing another dire situation as a result of a global semiconductor chip shortage. The automotive industry is an important outlet for petrochemicals, including ethylene, propylene, and butadiene. The new year hasn't been so happy for the energy sector. Oil prices plunged at the outset, and industry leaders and analysts expect the slump to continue throughout much of the year. ExxonMobil Corporation of Irving, Texas is among the hardest hit, with full-year profits standing at its third lowest since 2000. But Exxon is not cutting its capital spending outlook. Industrial Info was tracking more than $84.5 billion in active Exxon projects worldwide, including more than $2.6 billion worth that are set to begin construction in the US and Canada. And finally, in the news. A week after reporting about the impacts of Hurricane Ida on the petrochemical industry, the National Weather System Hurricane Center is reporting about a low-pressure system off the panhandle of Florida and Tropical Storm Larry, which is currently in the central Atlantic, neither of which are expected to affect the industry. And they continue to watch a tropical wave emerging off the west coast of Africa. So thank you for watching the Petrochemical Weekly Update. If you have any questions about anything you saw here today, please ask me. I am Robert Sawchek, and I will see you next time.